Senate.
Let's make sure that we don't indulge in complacency.
Competitive.
This is about giving the Texans the best candidate moving forward.
And contentious.
It's time we have another great senator that will actually stand up and fight for the values of the people of Texas.
Who will replace Ken Paxton as Attorney General? Bitter campaigns on the right and left. Plus, redistricting rewrites the congressional map, leaving incumbents fighting for survival.
He's hopscotching around to try to find something to run in.
Listen, I think it's not about her. It's not about anyone else.
Tonight, we have crews with candidates across the state, real-time results, and expert analysis. It is election night on WFAA.
Start tonight with massive confusion over where to vote in Dallas County and a judge ordering polls to remain open. Then the state Supreme Court blocked that extension, and residents just told us they were turned away at the polls. Thanks for joining us. I'm Chris Lawrence.
I'm Cynthia Izaguirre with senior political reporter Jason Whiteley. You've been tracking results on our streaming channel, WFAA Plus. Bring us up to speed.
None of this was on my bingo card tonight, right? I didn't anticipate most of what has happened over the past 2 or 3 hours. Bottom line, when it comes to the voters in Dallas County, it's the Democrats who had so much confusion about where to vote. How did all this happen? Well, normally the Republicans and Democrats get together for the primaries and hold one big joint primary. So when you show up to your precinct, you would say, I'd like to have a Republican ballot or a Democratic ballot. Well, the Republicans said, we don't want to do that this time. And the Democrats were left out on their own. They had to create different places for folks to go vote. That turned into a complete mess. At one point, about 6 o'clock, Colin Allred, who's running for Congress again, District 33 in Dallas County, he decides to go ask a Dallas County judge. Listen, this has become such a mess here. He wants a judge to extend the voting hours. The judge said, sure, we'll extend it for 2 hours until 9 o'clock. Fast forward 90 minutes at 8:30, Ken Paxton was talking to the Supreme Court saying you can't do that. That's against state law. So the Supreme Court said, listen, anybody in line between 7 and 9, those votes do not count. So here we are now. Democrats tell me tonight, they say that they expect oral arguments to happen tomorrow in Austin at the state Supreme Court. This was a preliminary order out tonight, not a final order. It's certainly appealable, it sounds like. Forgive my legal language for the attorneys watching tonight, but they expect briefs to be due later in the week. Here's the bottom line. There are so many Democratic races that are still up in the air because of this. The Democratic race for U.S. Senate, the Democratic race for comptroller, for Texas Attorney General, a number of these races still up in the air. And at the center of it all are voters, Democratic voters in Dallas County. Tiffany Liu has been with Democratic voters in Dallas County, and she joins us live after talking to a number of them long after polls closed there in Pleasant Grove. Tiffany?
Well, Jason, you know, we've been in Dallas County throughout the whole day since this morning. And actually, you know, it's not just Democratic voters who were confused about which polling locations to go to, but Republican voters were also confused as well. And tonight, that frustration absolutely grows. We are here at the Dallas College Pleasant Grove Center, and between 7 and 9 p.m., we were told there are around 30 people that were waiting here trying to cast their ballots, and ultimately, they did not get to vote. Now, one of those voters, he came out just after 9 o'clock. He showed me some video that he took from inside. Some people were there even before 7 o'clock. And then he said election judges and poll workers, they started cleaning up and then they left. They did contact Dallas County Elections and they were told that other judges would be sent this way, but nobody ultimately showed up. Now, I spoke with him. He said he's from the Pleasant Grove area. He said he waited that 2 hours because he thought it would be worth it to cast his ballot. But of course, at the end of the day, he's feeling disappointed.
I wanted to be known. This area might not be the richest area, might not be the best area to live in, but it's still our home. We still citizens of Dallas County. We still should be able to vote, and them not allowing us to vote is just a really injustice in today's election.
Manuel tells me that he fears this will cause voter apathy in the future, especially for a neighborhood like this. But he's not done fighting yet. He's still hoping that something can be done to get his vote in. He says tonight is absolutely unacceptable, and he hopes that this doesn't happen again. Let's send it back to you in the studio.
Thanks for that. So a lot of races still waiting to be determined here at 10:05. We fully expected to have a number of races called at this point, especially on the Republican and Democratic side, but that's not the case. Everyone wants to see the numbers. Let's go to Jason Wheeler on the big board right now to see how these races are shaping up. Let's start with the Democratic race for U.S. Senate and see what things look like now, especially with the Valley.
Yeah, things are kind of in limbo right now just because of what had happened in Dallas County. We still a lot of the vote out there. We don't know if we'll see that by the end of the night. Down in the Valley, you can see James Tallarico, doing very well in many of these counties, vote-rich counties like Cameron, Hidalgo, really running up into the 60s. We've got Webb County there into the 60s of percentages there pulling in that vote. But as you mentioned, all of these races on the Democratic side are affected. Nathan Johnson, who's running for the Attorney General position here in Dallas County, doing very well. This is his home county. But again, so much of the vote still out tonight because of what happened. Comptroller, same thing. Sarah Eckhart actually had that race called for her. Jasmine Crockett's old district. Looks like Freddie Haynes is running away with that, although that hasn't been called yet. And of course, we have District 33 with Colin Allred and Julie Johnson. That looks like it's headed to a runoff. But again, they were very upset about, the way that this came down tonight with Dallas County taking so long to get to things. On the Republican side, John Cornyn, the incumbent for Senate there, he is headed to a runoff with Ken Paxton, the Attorney General.
Let's pause here just for a moment. This is remarkable. Polling showed Paxton much farther ahead in all of the surveys here. Cornyn led one of them, but Cornyn told me today he expects this to be a dead heat. What's surprising here is that Cornyn is on top. He thought he might be, but the fact that he is kind of surprising to a lot of Republicans.
The question is who gets all of these other percentages for the other candidates who were on that ballot. We'll see come May when we get to that runoff.
Another big surprise here, Mays Middleton. I mean, you've seen his ads. MAGA Mays Middleton. Chip Roy was leading the polls. Mays Middleton, a senator from Galveston, is far and away ahead here, 11 points ahead.
Yeah, but again, who splits up all of this when it's all said and done? We'll find that out in May as well. This was a big surprise tonight, I think, too. This race not over yet. We're about 2/3 of the vote in, or what is expected to be the amount of votes that are in. And the incumbent, Sid Miller, for Agriculture Commissioner, has been all night behind Nate Sheets.